Focus up. Hopefully this is working. I've got some people watching right now. This is Rubio, Chris Rubio of the Rubio Method. This is episode 116. We're at a new time, just trying it out, see how it works out. We're going to see what's going on here. We've got a great show for you today. It'll be right under an hour. It should be a fun one. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? We're going to cover those 5 basic categories. Everything happens for a reason. There are winners and losers in life. Accept and embrace. Working hard is not enough. Confidence is the key. Sounds good. Brandon Calkins says, so we are on and we are live. So that's fantastic. All right. So here we go. So under everything happens for a reason, we're going to talk about raising good, well-behaved kids. I saw a clip where these parents videotaped themselves at a restaurant. And they thought they were doing a good job. And holy hell, if I was there, I would have slapped them. Under there are winners and losers in life. There's some great things going on in college right now, and there's some bad things. I'm going to pull up a couple videos of both. Some that are great, some that are bad, some that are kind of heart sad, but then it makes you feel good at the very end. So you're going to like it. For accept and embrace, I saw a study online and I said, this can't be real. Like, what are you doing here? So we're going to discuss it. And then I looked up, what are some other stupid studies that people have had or made? And holy hell, there's a couple really doozies in there. And it's going to bring me back to a conversation that I had with my oldest kid's girlfriend just not last Sunday, the Sunday before then, where I just was dumbfounded and I just didn't understand it. And she's a great girl, but it was one of those where, and I don't think either one of us were wrong, but I just didn't understand it. And maybe you can help me out here. Then working hard is not enough. McDonald's is coming out with a new burger called the McArch or Arch Burger or something like that. It's just a big burger. Their CEO made a video. It's really bad. And I'm going to tell all the companies that sell food how to fix your marketing because it's not hard. It's really not hard. And then confidence is the key. We're going to talk about how Generation Z, that's the kids basically right now that are young 20s, how booze intake is down, whether that is a good or a bad thing. And then I'm going to talk about a great teacher video that I saw. All of that and today and much more on episode 116 of the Rubio Method. We're going to have a fun show. Thank you for everyone watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. Tomorrow or later today, it'll be on iTunes and Spotify. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Let's get going. All right. So I just saw this one. I think it was today. Someone, when you have kids or before you have kids, let's just say you're mid 20s, early 20s, even early 30s. And all of a sudden when you don't have kids, you are the expert on having kids. It's very easy where you look and say, hey, I will never do this. If I have a kid, I don't care. This is something that I'm not going to do. Anyone that has been a parent or is a parent knows that 100% before you have kids, you say that. You look at someone behaving their kid or, reprimanding their child and you're like, oh, I won't do that, or I will do this, or things like that. And then when you get a heat of the moment, you're like, okay, I'll do whatever. I remember I was adamant with my oldest that I did not want him to have a pacifier, did not want him to have a pacifier, did not want him to have a pacifier. No. I don't want to be that kid that's like 7 years old with a pacifier. Not going to do it. By about week 3, 4, 5, 6, the kid is crying at night, I would have dipped that thing in straight sugar to get him to stop crying during the middle of the night. I didn't. Maybe. No, I didn't. But it's one of those things that you'll do anything at the time. If you haven't slept for a couple of days or you've had minimal sleep and this kid, you don't know what's going on because you've never been a parent before, you'll try anything. All right. So there's this memo going around. And here is the memo. I'm going to read some of it. It's basically this church. There was people complaining at church that people were coming in and they were bringing their toddlers I don't know, what is a toddler, 2, 3, 4 /5, 6. And these kids were a little bit, let's say, rambunctious. And church is a hard one. If you've ever been to church, say if you're going to Catholic church, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic church all the time, and it's long. I mean, you're looking at 45 minutes to an hour. It's up, down, kneeling. It's quiet. It's really happening. They're kind of reading some certain things. If you're a young kid, you're just waiting for the donuts after. Not to be rude, but that's literally what a lot of kids are doing. So here is the memo that went out. It just basically says, at Mount Washington Church, we are committed to transparency and accountability in all matters of church life. The following document outlines our comprehensive procedure regarding loud children in worship. Please consider this your official notice of policy clarification, effective immediately. If a family is considering visiting Mount Washington Church and they have a loud kid, the following options are available. Number 1, the family expected. Okay. Basically, the sound of children in worship is not a distraction, is evidence of life, growth, and etc. So they're basically saying, hey, 100% bring your kid. We want you to bring your kid. That's a great idea. Okay. I see the good and the bad here because, yeah, okay, Mr. Jesus wants to see your kid, and yay, you got your kid there, you dressed them all up, you did what you got to do. But it's one of those things that it's very, very tricky because, yeah, but at some point you need to correct your child. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone's going to have an issue with their kid. No kid is perfect. There's no matter how much you set up for it, no matter how many things you've got planned for it. When this kid's ready to blow, he's ready to blow, and there's nothing you can do about it. We've all been there. I remember when my kids were younger, let's say car seat, I guess that's birth, until about age 2 or 3 when they're not in a high chair at that point. But it's one of those where I remember my wife and I ordering food, and I would eat as physically fast as possible, which I'm a fast eater in general. And then I would eat as physically fast as possible simply because I didn't want to be an embarrassment to other people around. I didn't want my kid to be that kid. I didn't want to, everyone to pay attention to my kid. I didn't want lightning to strike in the restaurant. So I would eat as fast as I could. As soon as I heard one sort of whimper out of my kid, boom, I got up, I carried him out. My wife ate, or on the flip side, she would take him out. We were pretty good about all that stuff. But it's one of those things that, were we an iPad family? No, because iPads weren't really around when our kids were younger. Did we have the iPhone at some point where you're like, okay, kid, here, just look at the iPhone? But you don't want to be that parent too, because everyone's looking at you like, and a lot of times those people that are looking at you, like I said, either they don't have kids, or they think they know what they're doing, or maybe they are just superhuman. But there's a lot of times where you don't want to be the iPhone parent where your kid is just drooling on himself because he's focused on a phone at 6 months old. But at some point, if you're going to go to a restaurant, it's one of those things where you've got to do what you've got to do. And you have to be able to be stern as a parent, because you are going to parent either early or you're going to have trouble late. It's no different than, basically training a dog. If you train a dog, not comparing kids to dogs, but you know what I'm saying. If you train a kid, and you're, hey, do what you want, buddy. Do what you want, little Johnny, little Alicia. Do what you got to do. Then they're going to run all over you, and it's going to be a lot harder when they are let's say 5, 6, 7 teenager. Good God, bless your heart if you think you're going to get through that. I mean, there was one time, and this is not, I come by this honestly. I think I've told this story before. I was probably 8, 9, maybe 7, and I was going through the grocery store of in my city when I was growing up with my mom. And I remember there, in every grocery store, they have the school/toy aisle. Usually it's with the cereal and all that stuff. And I remember it was probably after work sometime, and I was there with my mom, and we were going through the toy aisle, and I had a little bit of an attitude, and I said, hey, I want this toy. I'm sure I said it more like a child. And my mother said, no, we can't afford that. You don't need another toy. I said, I want this toy, and I want it right now. She said, no, 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 no. And I started to throw a tantrum. And my mother looked at me with only the look a parent can look at their child of, oh, you're going to be in pain. And this was, early 80s, mid 80s, where back then you were allowed to just beat the hell out of a kid. I mean, nowadays you probably get arrested, but back then it was like, oh, you saw a parent beating the hell out of the kid, probably deserved it. So what are you going to do? My mother just looked at me, grabbed the toy, put it in the shopping cart, and we go to the front, go to checkout. I'm happy as can be. My mother buys the toy, goes to hand it to me, throws it on the ground, steps on it, smashes it, completely destroys it. And she says, Christopher, if you ever do that to me again, this will be the least embarrassed you ever are in life. And she was dead serious. It was one of those looks where you look to go, oh my God, she is not kidding. And from that point on, I never did that again, because God knows what I was going to be experiencing. Because my mom used to always say, hey, Christopher, you embarrass me right now. And I swear to God that I will go to your school at recess. So I'm in elementary school. I will go to your school at recess in a polka dot bikini. And now, mind you, not to be rude to my mother, she's not a supermodel. We're talking, I don't know, well, let's just say she was a proud Italian woman, or is a proud Italian woman. So they're not exactly petite. That's the most polite way I can say it. And she said, I swear to God, Christopher, and she would look at me with those eyes and go, I will go to your school at recess with the polka dot bikini and say, where's my son, Christopher Rubio? And at that point, you didn't know if she was playing. So it was one of those things of, oh my God, she might do this. And that was how I learned. And so that's the way I was raised. And so that's the way I raised my kid. Another great story that I've told on this before was I remember one time Cruz, my oldest, he's like 24, 25, 23, 26, one of those. Once you're past 21, no one really cares until you get to about 30. And we were hanging out. He was probably 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what's going on. Brandon Calkin says, "Well played, Mom." Yeah, she was. That was a good one. And we're sitting out there watching Saturday cartoons or whatever. And it's 8, 9 o'clock, and I said, "Cruz, you got to go get in the shower." And he looks at me and goes, "No," just nonchalant. And I look at him and again, I give him about 10 minutes. I'm going to let it slide this time because it's early. I'm still kind of waking up. I'm in a good mood. About 10 minutes later, I go, "Second time, Cruz, go get in the shower." He looks at me right in the face and goes, "No." And I go, "Oh." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm watching it as a narrator would watch, and I'm looking and going, all right, so this is how this is going to play out. The next one's all hell's going to break loose because he's testing me and I got to show him who's the boss here. And so about 10 minutes later, I look directly at him and I go, "Cruz, let's go. Get in the shower." He looks directly at me, pauses, looks right at me in the eyes and goes, "No, I don't want to go right now." I go, "Okay." I stand up, grab him by the back of the neck. I didn't lift him off the ground, maybe. Okay. Drug him outside. He was walking, maybe. Get him outside in the front yard. This is in Los Angeles area. So it was, I think maybe, let's go May. So it was pretty warm outside. It was probably already 80, 85 degrees. And I told him he had his pajamas on. And I said, "Take off your top, take off your bottom." So he's sitting there in just underwear. Okay. He's got his little underoos on or doing whatever. And I go, "Stand right there on the grass." So we were on the front yard. I get the garden hose. I turn it on. I start spraying his face as hard as I can. I start spraying his whole body. I go, "This is what's going to happen, bud. From now on, when I tell you to get in the shower, either you get in the shower right when I tell you, or I'm going to do this. I don't care who's driving by." And there was people driving by and they were just like, "Holy hell, this guy, I don't know what this guy fell in dog crap or what, but he's hosing his kid down in the front yard at 8:30 in the morning." Did I ever have any problems with Cruz after that getting in the shower? No, I didn't. So, lesson learned. Okay, so now what am I talking about? Well, here's a video where these parents thought they would videotape their kid who wanted a burger. Now, I'm not sure why they videotaped this to think that this was a good idea to do. So, I don't even understand what they're doing of why they thought this was a good idea to do. So, here we go.
That's the hamburger.
Okay, for those that are listening on iTunes and Spotify, you've got a mom looking at her kid. The dad is off camera. He's filming for some reason. And it says, "Point of view, your kid begs for a hamburger. You get him a hamburger." That's what you wanted. Okay, so this kid was begging for a hamburger. He's begging for a hamburger. They decided to give him a hamburger and film it. Now, and this kid's reacting like this. Okay, so let it play.
That's what you wanted.
Wait, what did you want?
I wanted a hamburger, not just two things on a hamburger. That's not even how you make a hamburger.
I don't know what you're saying, Max.
Wait, what's a hamburger to you?
It's a hamburger. You put tomatoes and stuff on it. This is not a hamburger, just a bun and a pickle. It's not a hamburger. I'm not eating this roast hamburger.
Well, you didn't even try it yet.
Yes, I did.
In the kid's defense, it is a crappy looking hamburger, but still, I would have taken the hamburger out of the bun and probably slapped the kid with it. That's me. So this is one of those things that I'm not sure what they're doing or why they're doing it.
Why don't you try it? You
No,
want?
I don't.
hamburger to you?
Okay, I had a little technical difficulties, but you get the point where this kid is losing his mind. Number one, not sure why they're filming it. Why would you want to make yourself look like an idiot or a bad parent? And if you were filming it, I would film it just to show my kid, hey, remember back when you were a kid, you were a moron. And here's the reason why you were a moron. So I'm not exactly sure what the hell they were even doing there, but that's not a good look. And I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure how, if anyone else would have handled it differently. I would have definitely handled it differently. I would have literally just, like I said, I would have most likely took the bun, thrown it on the ground, got the hamburger patty, and probably slapped the kid with it. And I wouldn't have filmed it. Or if I did film it, like I'd just save it for later. So I don't know about that. So bottom line, do what you got to do. But as a parent, figure it out. Don't film it. That's just stupid. I don't understand. All right. So there are winners and losers in life. Winners and losers in life. All right. So winners and losers in life. College is a very, very unique time in your life. There's no doubt about it. If you've been to college or if you've actually seen anyone that goes to college or know anyone that goes to college, a lot of times the big thing about going to college is you get to meet other people. Now, obviously, you're going to meet other people in your job and workplace, but like say I went to UCLA. UCLA has 40,000 students. Okay, that is more than the town I live in right now. I live in Lewiston, Idaho, that only has 30,000. So the town I live in has less people than UCLA had students. So you're going to see a lot of different human beings. You're going to see a lot of uniqueness, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different religions, a lot of different ethnicities. And it's one of those things that was great for me because I always had a friend group or a gang because I was on the football team. So making friends made it very easy for me to do that. Not a problem. But it was good for me because I like to talk to different people. And the more I speak to different people, I like to poke the bear, as you guys know. And by poke the bear, what I mean is I like to see where I can get to them. And I like to argue. I like to discuss things. And I remember getting some great discussions with people about religion and non-religion and ethnicities and cultures and things like that. Even for my age at that point, which I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I remember still having decent conversations with people because it's the first time that you're really away from mommy and daddy unless you're living at home. So you have to learn how to survive on your own. And if you're not thick-skinned, it becomes an issue because it's one of those things that you're going to have problems in life simply because you're in the real world. Mommy and daddy can't save you. And if they could save you, you're pathetic and you shouldn't be saved right then because you need to learn how to walk on both feet. So I don't know what to tell you about that. This is a great video. This is a football team where they found out somehow that one of their buddies on the team couldn't ride a bike. Okay, so this kid, I don't know if he was raised without parental units or whatever, that had bikes or had the money to do it, but somehow they found out that he couldn't ride a bike. Now, usually you learn to ride a bike at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, ages like that, whatever. This guy's, let's say at minimum 17. He's probably unless he's Doogie Howser, but he's minimum 17, most likely 18. He's never ridden a bike. And the best part about this video is that his buddies, the guys on the team, found out. And did they probably make fun of him a little bit? I'd be willing to bet yes. But then watch what happens. The mom buys him a bike, gets him a helmet. God love him because he's going to need it. But then watch his teammates. Okay, so they're all supporting him. It's absolutely fantastic. I think that I saw that video. I was like, this is a good one because it shows that, you know, everyone always throws the younger generation under the bus and they're just, oh, they're a bunch of idiots, which, yeah, they are. But yeah, so were you. Anyone that's an adult, you know, an adult watching this, when you were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, you were an idiot as well. There's no doubt about it. Matt Askren has a question. Speaking of UCLA, what do you think of Mick Cronin these days? The basketball coach. He's had some issues where he's an angry little man. For those that don't know, he had a game where one of his players did a hard foul on someone, but when you look at it in review, it wasn't that hard. And I'm more of a kind of guy that if you're going to do a big foul, make it count. Each foul counts for one, maybe a technical, but if you're going to do it, hit him as hard as you want. It only counts as one foul. And the coach lost it. They were getting smashed. I think they were playing Michigan State, and the coach kicked his own player out. He goes and says, "You're out of here, Johnny. Go back to the not the dugout, Jesus, the locker room, and you're out." And so they interviewed him after, but this guy, he's really salty all the time. Like, yeah, just chill out, dude. It's okay. You're getting paid good money. You live in a nice area. You probably have college housing. Everything's paid for. Just chill out a little bit. So I saw that bike video, and then for some reason my algorithm started coming around to other things, and then I saw this video, and I actually sent this to my middle son, and I said, okay, the bottom girl is the kind of girl you need to date. I don't know how tall she is, because I've made it a very strict rule that he needs to date 5'10" and above, because my wife says, you're trying to breed an athlete. 100%. I'm not hiding it. Okay. I'm not hiding it. The bigger the better, because he's a big human being. He's like 6'3", 280, solid muscle. So am I trying to create superhuman DNA? 1,000,000% I am. So I saw this video and I sent to him and I said, okay, the bottom girl is someone that you can date. And he says, that's got to be fake. And it's not. I want you to watch. This is the type of people that you'll meet in college and things like that, because you got to go to different events and things like that. Watch how strong this girl is. This is unbelievable. Okay, so the video. Okay, so the video was a little rough there, but you can see basically the girl does a handstand while she's holding another human being, who's the person is basically holding onto her foot, and she's up on top of the foot. So the bottom is doing a handstand, and with one leg, the lady up top, and no, don't get me wrong, it's a gymnast. So the girl up top is probably 11 pounds, but for the love of God, Matt Askren just says right now, he says, she must have the strongest core muscles in history. Yeah, either that or she's a damn robot, because I saw the video. And I said, this has got to be AI, man. So I double checked and it wasn't. She has to be probably pound for pound the strongest human being on the planet. I don't care if she's, one of those strong men like Magnus or Magnuson from Iceland or something. This girl is a freak. Every guy should be trying to date her immediately for breeding purposes alone, because holy hell, she has got to be the strongest person on the damn planet to be able to do that. Number one. Number two, how do you even figure out that you can do that? I almost blew a hammy and a hip watching this, and she's throwing this girl up. And let's just say this girl's petite, the top one. She's probably, let's say she's 4'5", and let's say she's 90 pounds. That's still freakish. I mean, just doing a handstand is freakish. And this girl is just launching her up on her hoof and just holding her up like that while she's doing a handstand. If she was sitting down in a chair holding on to rails and then put her feet up like that and still did that, that's just not even human. So more power to her. God love her. That's one of those things. All right. So which brings me to the good and the bad, the final one for their winners and losers life. There's this guy named KC Concepcion. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. He's a wide receiver for Texas A&M, and he's at the NFL Combine. Now, I hope my Wi-Fi sticks out for this one, because this is a really, really good video. He's at the NFL Combine. And at the NFL Combine, you can do through the 40s and the jumps and the sprints and all that. The linemen are lifting stuff and pushing stuff, and the athletes are, jumping and running routes and doing all this and blah, blah, blah. And then usually after that, they ask you some questions. They'll do some interviews, and basically you've already taken, I think it's called the Wonderlic test, where they want to see if you're an idiot or not, and then they ask you some questions. They just want to see how well you handle the pressure of the press. Are you an idiot? It's no different than college recruiting. It's no different than if you were applying for a job. They want to make sure that, okay, Excel, PowerPoint, how to do this, how to hold a hammer, how to pound in a nail, how to screw in a screw, whatever. Can you handle yourself? If someone's asking you a question, are you going to start drooling on yourself? So this guy does an interview. And then after the interview, some keyboard warriors go after him. And so a lot of people on social media start going after him as well. Now, I'm hoping my Wi-Fi holds out on this one. For some reason, it's having a little bit of trouble. So this is him talking. Okay, Casey Concepcion.
Meeting with the Bills, it went really well. I'm actually from, well, I was actually born in New York, the Rock, 585. I moved out of Charlotte, when I was about 5. That is the Bills is actually my dad's favorite team. So I've been watching him. I have been watching since I was young. I've been seeing Josh Allen. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'll be great.
Okay, so you're watching that and you're saying, okay, so this guy's got kind of an issue where he's slow, he's not exactly quick on his feet, he's not very witty, he's just talking, is he dumb? Well, it turns out that the dude's got a huge stutter. And if you've ever known someone with a stutter, this to me wasn't that bad. I used to have a neighbor, I won't say his name, I went through high school with him as well. I mean, this guy would stutter like, oh my God. And it was one of those that when he stuttered, you felt bad for him because you could see it was stressing him out. And it was one of those kids growing up. If you've ever been a part of, I don't know if they still do it in class now, but if you'd have, say, English and reading class, and then you'd start reading out of a book, and then you knew every kid was reading a different paragraph, and you start counting down. Okay, so Johnny's reading there. I'm the 7th kid. I'm going to count 7 paragraphs. I know that I'm going to have to start with this word so I'm going to practice a little bit. He was the kind of kid that you could tell, holy hell, he probably stressed because every single word was a struggle. And when I was talking to my buddy that had this stutter, and I mean, this guy is like a verbal giant compared to the guy that I grew up with, where like him reading that sentence right there, like him saying there are winners and losers in life, that would take him, not joking, maybe a minute. And you started to feel bad for him due to the fact that it was something that was so hard for him to do. And you felt anxious for him because this guy's not trying to do this. He's not trying to stutter. He's not trying to struggle. And you just want to say, I know what you want to say. Should I help you? But you're not, you just let him kind of go because he needs to get it out. And it's weird if you've ever been around people that stutter. Sometimes if they are more nervous, well, not sometimes, pretty much all the time, their stuttering gets worse. If they're more relaxed, they don't stutter at all. And it's crazy. So this guy, it became a little social media thing. And he put out on his Instagram, I just want to say something. If you've had a speech impediment, there's nothing wrong with this. I've had the stutter since I can remember talking. This is a part of me. This is who I am. I cannot control this. I want to be a role model for those who may be scared to speak up, who may be afraid and not confident in yourself. I stand with you. This weekend has taught me a lot about myself and people out here in this world. I appreciate everyone who supports me and who has reached out to me after these interviews. Don't let an outside person's thoughts, opinions get in the way of being great, of achievement in something in life. I am blessed to be in the position that I am in, and I want to help give back to those who are scared to speak up, who aren't as confident. I stand with you all, and I will always stand with you. We are different for a reason. God has blessed my life in a way I couldn't even imagine this past year. I love you all. I love y'all, and support y'all as we climb this mountain together. Absolutely phenomenal. So basically a big middle finger to every single person that was making fun of him. But, good for him. I mean, this is one of those things that, damn well, he's obviously knows he has a stutter. And it's one of those things that he knows he's going to have to answer questions. And so for him to go up on stage and just field those questions, super impressive because, I mean, that's got to be so nerve-wracking just knowing that he's going to have to go through that, and for him to do that and then people ridicule him after. But so, more power to him. I'm really proud of him. I hope he does well. I hope the Seahawks get him because I'm a Seahawks fan. But that was just a good moment. I thought everyone should know about that. Let's move on to accept and embrace. All right. So accept and embrace. I saw a study. And I thought this can't be real. This is too stupid, even for studies. And you've seen studies where let's see how long it takes a butterfly to travel to Puerto Rico or something like that. So I see this study and I go, this can't be real. Here's the study. Associated Press. Ever wonder why basketball players' sneakers are constantly squeaking as they run around the court? Now scientists have studied what's happening and have found the phenomenon is caused by the soft material of the sole rippling on the floor. Yeah. Who didn't know that? Did they think there was birds in there chirping? Like, what are you doing? How did you not think this? Like, everyone knew this. And how much did this study cost? And why would you even care? Like, what are you gaining from this? What are you benefiting from knowing that the squeak on a basketball court is from the rubber soles going against the hardwood? Who cares? I just don't even get it. It doesn't even make sense to me. So I turned up some research here, and here's another couple great ones. Studies show beneficial effect of electric fans in extreme heat and humidity. So if there's excessive heat and humidity, electric fans will make you cooler. Thanks. Great one, bud. Couldn't have figured that out on my own. The second one, study shows benefit of higher quality screening colonoscopies. Yeah. If you're having a camera go up your butthole, you probably want a high quality camera. You don't want something with rust and dirt on it that's going to give you like a JPEG of 14 pixels, because then they're going to have to do it like 77 times. I've had this done. I did it on the show. I didn't do it on the show, Jesus, but I talked about it on the show. And it's one of those things that, yeah. So you want a better camera going up your butthole. Way to crack that code, Da Vinci. Next one. Depressed individuals may fail to decrease sadness. Yeah, they're depressed. They're sad. So they're not going to get less sad because they're depressed, moron. Holy hell. Next one. Quitting smoking after a heart attack reduces chest pain, improves quality of life. Yeah. You just had a heart attack, man. Maybe because you were smoking too much. So they're saying after you have a heart attack, if you stop smoking, you'll have less chest pain and improve your quality of life. Thanks. That took a study? Okay. Older workers bring valuable knowledge to the job. Yeah. They're older. They've been there longer. Okay. As long as they're not pissed off at life, they're going to have more knowledge because they've done it more. How is this? Who's studying this? Who's paying for this? This has got to be all dirty money, because this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. All right. The last two are very good. Oh, wait, 3. Being homeless is bad for your health. Yeah. No kidding. If you're homeless, you're probably not going to the doctor. You're probably not eating the best of foods. Okay. You're probably not doing any of that stuff. So is it bad for your health? Yeah, man. This is stupid. You could have saved yourself a lot of money to ask me, and I could have told you all these. Second to last one. Statistical analyst reveals Mexican drug war increased homicide rates. Yeah. If there's a drug war, just the term war, you know there's going to be death rates going up. You're not selling flowers here, man. This is no kidding. And the last one, this one's phenomenal. Scientists discover a difference between the sexes. So there's a difference between the sexes. You couldn't tell just by looking at someone that there's a difference between the sexes. Okay, you can't put me next to a woman and go, that dude's a little different, okay, than her. She's a little different than him. Yeah. Number one. Number two, have you ever spoken to a man? Have you ever spoken to a woman? There's huge differences. Okay. Right now, if a man's watching this show and someone says, what's Rubio wearing? You're going to say a yellow shirt. If someone asked a woman, what's Rubio wearing? They're going to say, oh, it was a yellow t-shirt. It's got the Rubio method on. It's a little wrinkled. He might have a undershirt underneath it. He's got a wedding ring. He's got a watch, things like that. He's got a little sunglass tan on the side that makes him look very fast. He's got 3 wrinkles showing on his forehead because they're more detail oriented. This goes back to the conversation that I had 2 Sundays ago with my oldest son, Cruz, and his girlfriend. Great girl. And she was talking about how she didn't understand how Cruz doesn't listen. And I said, well, what do you mean? Because he's like, yeah, I listen, but I'm hearing and I'm listening, but I'm answering. And I go, okay. So I got confused. And she says, if she's had a hard day at work, she wants to come home and talk to him about her day and just vent about person A, person B, person C, how this happened, how there was this miscommunication here, how there was an issue with this customer, things like that. And I said, okay, so you're conveying all these problems to him. She says, yes. And then I said, oh, but you don't want him to answer. She says, no. Well, then why are you telling him? And that's what I said. I go, I don't understand. Why are you telling him this? She goes, I want him to listen. I go, but he's listening. She goes, yeah, but I don't want him to respond. I go, what the hell's happening here? I go, this is a dead, and I looked around like, am I being filmed here? Because there's no way this is a real conversation. And she was dead serious. And then I think my mom was with it. And she goes, yeah, women just want you to listen without solving the problem. I still don't get it. Why would you tell someone, hey, I've got a flat tire? It's really flat. I can't drive. Okay, well, you want me to tell you how to fix the flat tire, or do you want me to change the flat tire? Like, I'm not doing either one. But do you want me to kind of assist in calling AAA? No, I just want you to listen. What am I not seeing here? I just don't get it. Maybe there's just too much difference between men and women. I mean, they wrote a whole book on it. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I mean, if you're listening or watching right now and you have the answer, please tell me, because I just don't get it. I just don't understand. If I'm talking to you about a problem I have, I want you to help me. Okay. If I'm sitting on an anthill and I'm telling you, oh my God, ants are everywhere, they're going up my butt, what do I do? I don't want you to listen and just talk to me. I want you to tell me, hey, idiot, get off the anthill. Jenna says, we don't need you to solve our problems. We just need you to be there for us. So you just want us to listen? But then why are you, Jenna, help me out here. I just don't get it. Like, what do you just like to talk? You want us to be there for you, like, just so we're like a mannequin? I'm very confused by this. Jenna says yes. Okay, so I could just, okay, but Jenna, then my next question is how much do I have to focus? Because if I don't have to answer as a dude, I'm gonna immediately zone out, because I'm thinking to myself, she doesn't want my answer. So do I really need to know about her day and how Jane at work was an absolute idiot? Because at that point, if I know I don't have to answer, I'm tuning out. It's almost like when you're in a class and the professor or teacher says, hey, the next 30 minutes, not going to be on the exams at all. Okay. Jenna says, focus up enough to remember when we bring it up to you again in the future. Holy hell. So Jenna tells me that, so you guys are quizzing us? So we've got to pay attention to everything, but you don't want us to answer, but you do want us to know that you've talked to us about it. Oh my God. This is almost too much for me. I just, I don't get it. I'm very confused by it. So I'm going to post this one too. We don't need you to solve our problems. We just need you to be there for us. Okay. Matt Askren says it's a trap. Jenna, it's a trap. 100%. That is 100% a trap. And it's one of those things that I don't think there's a right answer. Jenna said, hold on, she's clearing it up. You can answer as in, like, that must be really hard for you, and then give us a hug and a kiss and everything's better. So you want me to just say, oh, that I feel for you. You've had a rough day. Hug, smooches, and then just sit there knowing that I have the cure for cancer and you don't want it? I'm supposed to just sit there and go, all she's got to do to Jane is just tell her to shut up, move on, and here's a burger. But I can't say that. I'm supposed to just, oh my God, this is, I didn't realize this was going to be that hard. Okay. So Jenna says you can answer as in, like, that must be really hard for you, and then give us, Jenna says she's going to send me the bill. Yeah, I guess. I think you're a marriage counselor at this point, Jenna. We got to move on, because that one, that hurt my head. I didn't like that at all. Literally not at all. All right. Working hard is not enough. This weekend, I'm going to New Jersey. If you've ever been to New Jersey, it's phenomenal. Okay. There's good parts and there's bad parts, just like any big place. But the thing about Jersey is the food is tremendous. Absolutely phenomenal. Lots of Italian food. I think I played a video for you guys last time about when I went there in the fall, about how I was in a deli and they were just yelling nonstop at everyone. And it felt a lot like my family. I grew up in an Italian household. Half my family's Italian, and they were just like, yelling is not normal. Like, if you're talking at this tone, something's wrong with you. Like at a family meal, or just even saying hello. If my family is yelling or basically in an argument, to me, that seems normal. My wife hates it because she did not grow up like that. She's always said, like, your family just yells and argues. I go, we're not arguing. We're just talking. It just happens to be pretty damn loud. And we're just getting our point apart. We're passionate, so to speak. So people and food are tremendous. The females in New Jersey, frightening in a good way, because they're almost like You don't want to look at them, but you need to look at them, but they're very, very feisty. Very, very feisty. Now, this brings me up to the food. Whenever I go into a deli or thing like that, especially in New Jersey, I want the guy back there, whether it be a chef, a cook, I don't know what you call the people that run a deli. I want him to be fat and disgusting. I want it to be a place where I only pay cash. I want it to be a place where there's maybe no computers. I want it to be where the guy comes out, he's maybe 6 foot, 300 pounds. His apron looks like it's never been washed. There's sauce on the walls. There's music going. I want the more fat and disgusting a human being running that place, the better, because I know a fat dude is producing good food because he's got standards. And that's what I've always, there's even a saying, I think it says, never trust a skinny chef. 1,000%. If I go to a restaurant and the chef is super thin, I'm out. I'm 100% out. I think it's stupid. I don't want to see it. So this goes to the McDonald's issue. All right. So McDonald's guy, he decides he's going to, McDonald's guy being the CEO of McDonald's, they're coming out with this new burger, the Arch or McArch burger, whatever. And they decide he is going to create a video of him eating said burger. Sounds great. Wonderful. The problem is, well, I'll just let the video play and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Got it. Here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already. It's in Portugal, Germany, Canada.
Let me say right out of the gate here, this dude does not look like someone that I'm trusting with my burger order. Okay. He's looks a little petite. He's way too dressed up to be giving me food commentary. I want someone that's got maybe some ketchup on their shirt, maybe some ranch on the walls, things like that. This guy does not look like he knows his way around a kitchen. There. That's all I'm going to say. We'll keep going.
Love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious Big Arch sauce, and of course some lettuce. So, oh, there's so much going on with this.
It's a burger. Take it down about 10 to 15%, bud.
First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it.
What do you mean you don't know how to attack it? It's not a jaguar in the jungle. It's not a puma in the water. It's a burger. You grab it, you eat it. See, this is what I'm talking about. A fat guy would dominate this commercial. Go ahead.
Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth.
Those that are listening on iTunes and Spotify, this guy just took a bite, and I'm not even sure this bite would have consumed in one pistachio. It was the most disturbing bite I've ever seen. It looks like maybe he got half a sesame seed in his mouth and he's got one on his lip right now. But if you're going to take a bite, this is yet again why you want big fat people in your commercial for this burger. And I know this is not a commercial. It's the CEO trying to, well, highlight this burger, but this is not the bite that I want.
That is so good. That's a big bite for a Big Arch.
That is not a big bite. It doesn't even look like he took any meat. I'm embarrassed for him.
It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike anything else on our menu. It's a delicious product. You know, you've got sort of the cheeses.
What do you mean distinctively McDonald's? Distinctively McDonald's is someplace that you're before a game, after a game, your kids, you got late practice, you got to pick up something quick and cheap, and you want to you got to get some burgers in your kid's mouth. We've all been there. You say you're not going to do it, and you end up doing it. And it's one of those things that it passes as food. Is it a delicacy? God, no. Okay. So let's not get crazy, bud.
And the gooiness, but those crispy onions as well gives a nice texture. And of course, we've got the pickle. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my lunch, but Big Arch, try it when you can get it.
I'd be willing to bet $1,000 that dude did not finish that burger. And there's another comment. He did another video, and I have to tell you what he said. He's quoted. He literally said this. He's breaking down a Big Mac now and said, the visual appeal is fantastic. You don't say that about anything at McDonald's. Nothing personal at McDonald's. It's got its place. It has tempered cheese. What the hell does that mean? Tempered cheese? You mean melted? Is that melted? I don't know what tempered means. Maybe that's a Canadian thing. The beef notes are fantastic. What the hell is a beef note? It's not a wine tasting, bud. The beef notes. And the last one, Jesus, there's a different mouth feel. A different mouth feel? Who's advising this guy? What's going on here? Why would you eat? Don't take him off. Don't ever let him get in front of a camera again. So Burger King, right after, said, hey, I'm trying to add it. It's not working. Well, anyway.
Not bad, right?
Only one thing missing, a napkin.
It's a better bite, but it's still one of those things that just give me a fat guy. Give me a fat guy. This is not hard. Commercial people for Big Macs and Whoppers and all those things. You want to sell a burger, there's two ways to do it. You get a really big athlete or big fat guy and who knows what food is. 300 pounders, 350, big, massive human being. He's holding the burger and he just lets it rain. He takes a big bite, craps flying off to the side. That's what we want to see. It's very simple. We either want to see that or you want to see this. This was a commercial from way back in the day with Paris Hilton. This is not hard, okay?
I love Paris in the springtime. I love Paris in the fall. I love Paris in the winter when it drizzles. I love Paris in the summer when it sizzles. I love Paris every moment.
Carl Jr., phenomenal. They showed Paris Hilton when she was hot. I don't know if she still is hot. I haven't seen her in a while. But does anyone really care about the burger? I wasn't even looking at the burger. But I think their website literally crashed right after that because of that commercial. I don't know if it was a Super Bowl spot or whatever, but those are the type of commercials. You either want a hot chick eating a burger, which no one's paying attention to the burger, sorry, and you saw she's chewing on it and flying all over the place, or a fat dude. There you go. CEO of every burger company. I just made you millions of dollars. You're welcome. Send the check to the rubiomethod.com. Very, very simple. All right. So let's move it on to confidence is the key. I saw this study and I can't tell if it's good or bad because immediately you're going to look at it and you're going to think, all right, so this is really, really good. Here's the study. Gen Z and alcohol, a fading bond. Gen Z is basically, I think it's like, let's say 21 to 30-year-old kids right now. Annual expenditure on alcoholic beverages in the United States by generation. And it's going, okay. Let me get rid of that one. Perfect. Okay. So you've got the older generation spending 25.9 billion, 23.14 billion the next, 23.45 billion the next. And Gen Z is only right now showing 3.13 billion. Now, here's the thing. You have to ask yourself, is Gen Z avoiding booze because of all the negative things that come with booze? Okay, it's bad for your health. We got it. You're going to do stupid things. Wonderful. I understand. Okay, those are the things that you don't want. We get it. Or is it because they're sitting at home scrolling on their phones, just doing whatever they're doing? That's the question that they need to ask. Okay. Matt Askren says, I believe I was living in California at the time of the Paris Hilton ad campaign. Carl's was packed after. Yep. There you go, Matt. Not a hard concept. Very, very simple. Okay. Matt says another comment. Gen Z is too busy on the vape pen. Yeah, that's the problem. Is it too busy on, vaping, or is it the devil's lettuce because it's legal in, X amount of states? Because booze, yes, I get it. It's bad for you, but it also has its benefits of it gets people out. It gets people social. And if you've been around anyone that's under, say, 30, they can be just scroll zombies. They can be scroll zombies where they are just on their phone, scroll. And that's not a good thing because then they're not being social and they're not being interactive with other people. And you could see a lot of time in the workforce where people are not as friendly as they used to be because they're not used to even speaking with people. I do a lot of things with kids where I teach. And if there we are. If it's hard to look at me in the eyes because it's making you nervous, look at my forehead. And I say it starts here and just keeps on rolling. Just stare at me at my forehead because then it looks like you're looking at my eyes. So it's a little bit of a trick. But the next generation, let's say is 18 and below, they're going to have a big opportunity to be much different where they can be more social. I'm not saying they need to go out and get hammered every single night. Obviously not. But I'm saying it's one of those things that we have to look at this study and say, okay, are they spending less because, oh, they want to be super healthy? Or are they spending less because they're zombies just sitting at their house? That's where the issue becomes. So I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. It's just one of those things that we need to kind of look at. So the last video I wanted to show you, I saw this one and it just reminded me of all the great teachers I've had. And this is a soccer player in Europe. I think they're called players. Soccer player of soccer, football player, well, but with the feet. So it's, and he is doing this interview and they surprised him with one of his elementary school teachers. And so this guy's just doing this. He's out there having a good time doing an interview. And then all of a sudden, one of his elementary school teachers, who was one of the teachers that believed in him, comes up.
Hey, Mr. Pickett. You're alive. I'm alive, he says. How are you doing? I can't believe it. Someone said you was dead. As you say, very much. I'm so glad you've done so well with yourself. God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Absolutely phenomenal. It shows how much that teacher meant him in life. And it just reminded me of, how many times you've had a great teacher in your life. So the assignment for tonight is basically, hey, try to hit up one of your teachers, your former teachers that meant a lot to you. I had several. Mr. Schlitt, phenomenal. Mr. Lopez, Mr. Stefanik, they were all great professors. I know I'm missing some, but those are ones that, and I had the opportunity, once I was done playing football at UCLA, I went and was a middle school teacher, taught 6th grade history, was just me telling stories. I know it's shocking. And I went back to the same middle school that I went to. I became a teacher at, and a lot of those teachers were still there. So it was very odd and unique to see these guys and girls. And it was fun because I got to hopefully, when I learned from them and tried to enrich the other kids, because you get a good teacher. Having a bad teacher is one thing, and it can really put a bad taste in your mouth. But if you have a good teacher, holy hell, can it really add up in a great way. So let's go to the bottom line. The bottom line is all the stuff you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, pay now or pay later in parenting. Them right out of the gate and you get through some rough times, or you're going to pay later and it's going to be even rougher, I promise you. Number two, put yourself in other people's shoes and zip it. This goes back to the guy that was stuttering. He had a big problem and he was willing to step out on a ledge and show everyone that, okay, I can get through this. And people didn't put themselves in his shoes, and a lot of people look like an idiot. And number three, I already said it, or something like that, just say, hey, Mr. Jones, I just want to say you were phenomenal in 9th grade science. I really appreciate everything you did for me. On that note, this is a great show. I want to appreciate everyone commenting, watching on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. If you have any comments, you can email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. I really appreciate everyone coming on. And we'll have another one next week. We'll have a great show. I appreciate everyone. I'm out.